voice is unbroken. She just says it. And a lot of people think that posture is either admirable or suspicious. It's the latter. Express the moment those lyrics are played. This is manipulation rather than amnesia. He begins the meticulous, exhaustive analysis of the night the story is being built. At that point, a ridiculous conspiracy. Rather, it's just his theory of a timeline that he claims, or a startling charge. And the suspense of that fight is what pulls readers into the story. He explains that she wasn't organized for him. He says that because she and her friends were simply hungry. What was available in his region? Or that he suggested a restaurant. They agreed, and that was the true purpose of the event rather than some ostentatious perform for the camera. There's a subtle energy to his narration. It was not rushed, but rather like an investigator inspecting a murder scene he was already familiar with. The phone call, the closed earrings, the arrival of exos, and the expected energy all seem deliberate. Nothing unusual as of yet, but the timeline is altered. He describes how his companion arrived at the event without being a part of the original. It's obvious coincidence, even if he chooses his words carefully. Was not informal. Was scheduled in advance. Soon. Commenters examine the wording by slowing down the video. The way he pauses and continues, this sounds like jealousy for others. You went to the internet and said you woke up in a pool of blood and almost died. In the L'Oreal interview, you mentioned that you were at home with David or someone else, and they said, we need to call the ambulance. This sounds to others like someone who saw a pattern long before it was made public. And more viewers think it's the first real story because the dance became proof after. She told the world that she had thrown a party for him, and he in response, I listed all the reasons. Tamar, I was never at ease with the relationship you and Mendeecees, which makes the tone even more problematic. Alright, describes how he only dragged himself to the next location because the others persisted. Though he dare. The dude doesn't sound like he's excited to celebrate. Sounds like someone who will but didn't know how to describe it. In the video where more people pause it than at any other point. Tamar claims that she hosted a birthday celebration for a friend. His response to this portion is almost forensic. He explains why this statement bothers him. Because you automobile. You two were kissing while he was sitting on his damn Uber. Alright? And I was really uncomfortable. It's a lighthearted exaggeration to anyone who knows who was involved. It's a deception meant to divert attention and give the impression that he abused her on a night she had planned for him. One thing is clear, the audience agrees with him. Tamar displays herself as the giver when she adds, I gave a friend a birthday party, which leaves room for interpretations that she may support a friend who is outraged by the person she admired, the sufferer who was betrayed in return. The captivating story in and of itself. But as soon as his version enters the room, it becomes a disagreement rather than a story. The story begins to take on a tense tone when to choose between two conflicting time frames and irreconcilable facts, not through danger or violence, but rather through the kind of confusion that leads to doubts about motives, decisions, and memory. He concedes that he wants things to go back to how they were. And then he adds a layer of emotional suffering that makes everything more intense, giving the idea that silence is more than words. He admits that loss of a friendship he once treasured and that he didn't want all of this to happen, but that when someone expresses such a level of disapproval, it becomes more difficult to dismiss them as malicious, which makes vulnerability. The most unsettling part of it all, The internet begins to formulate theories. Tamar is reportedly dodging. Some believe that he is overreacting. Others believe that presenting the truth as they understand it, and that the real story lies somewhere in the area where those realities converge. Nevertheless, the reference to feeling next revelation that drastically changes the tone is witnessing Tamar and Mandy's conversations. He doesn't make any factual charges or accusations. He just shows discomfort, the kind that comes from observing